However, the indigenous people call it Face of the Wolf. One day Grady and his son Blake go hunting in the forest. Blake keeps getting distracted by things like the mushrooms and the birds, so Grady scolds him and reminds him paying attention is important to survive. At that moment Blake notices something nearby and Grady confirms it's a deer. As he turns around Grady gets ready to shoot it, but the deer runs away. When Grady turns again, he can't find his son. Meanwhile Blake has found a good spot to wait for the deer, but instead he sees a mysterious creature that just disappears after a few seconds. When Blake tries finding it again, he hears some growling. Terrified, Blake begins walking backward as he hears the growling getting louder. Suddenly Blake is startled by a figure, but it's Grady scolding him for not following orders. More rustling can be heard among the trees and Grady senses danger, so he and Blake rush to hide in the hunting blind. Grady gets his gun ready to shoot because a mysterious creature is climbing up the ladder to reach them. It tries to break down the door and fails, so it moves around the blind to try to get them from the back. At that moment an animal appears nearby, so the creature jumps down to attack it. When Grady takes a peek, he discovers a mauled deer on the ground. He also notices the creature nearby and tries shooting it, but it immediately runs away and its howling can be heard in the forest. Blake asks what that was and Grady calls it a bear. That night Grady calls his friend Dan to tell him he saw the wolf. It's revealed he's been taking notes and has been researching this mysterious beast for a while. Dan doesn't see the point of chasing after it, but Grady insists it's to protect their kids. Blake overhears this while looking at his dad's tattoo. 30 years later, Blake has married Charlotte and they have a daughter called Ginger. One evening Blake receives an important letter that includes some keys. It turns out his father has officially been declared dead by the state of Oregon after being missing for years. Blake had expected this to happen sooner or later, but he's still in shock. He wishes he had spent more time with his father, revealing he left as soon as he was old enough. The next day Blake visits Charlotte at work and tells her he feels they've been distant lately, and getting that letter has made him want to spend more time with his loved ones. Since he needs to travel to Oregon to pick up all of Grady's things, Blake announces the family can spend the whole summer there.